Mohammed and I met 1992. It was Unity and Diversity, two Indian with two young children in a small place next to King's College Hospital. We know where we were. So we met, we became friends, family friends. Our children grew together. They are in their 30s now. So why 500 transplants? What is in the number? And what is in the number is that if you want to know how many transplants per year a center needs to do to be seen as one of the world's biggest centers, the number is somewhere around 2030. So most of the American centers, I will say all of American centers nowadays don't do more than 25 transplants per year. To get to 500 by one person is remarkable. So in 1980s, so what difference does it make? In 1980s and early late 80s and early 90s, when we spoke to the families, you said, the family didn't want the transplant or didn't know what to do. And I have, in my age, faced this. A family going to the court saying that we don't want a transplant, family saying that the success is not there. What Mohammed achieved in King's College Hospital was, and that is true, the innovation that he brought in, that to help very young children who were not considered patients for transplantation that time. People said, we can't help you because you're too small. So example of a 5-day-old, and example of a 1.4 kilograms. 1.4 kilograms is smaller than a bag of sugar. So that is the kind of skills he had. I always say there are three types of surgeons are in this world. One, they are trained several years and they can do the job. And second, the people who are what we call as outstanding surgeons. So Mohammed is not an outstanding surgeon. The outstanding surgeons are who stay outside the operation, but they talk a lot. They can say they've done the world. And then there are gifted surgeons. They're sent by God to want some particular thing, and that's him. What makes a hospital is 5 or 6 things. If you have a clinical outcomes, the patient's outcomes are better. Are you learning from academia? Are you doing that by publishing papers? And what is testament to him is his publications are rated one of the highest in the field of liver transplantation. And that led him to be the president of the International Transplant Society. It's a great achievement for an Indian person. He may not have it in England because that's how much he could deliver on that. One thing I used to say to my colleagues, I have not seen anybody passing away on whom he has operated in King's College Hospital. And that's a very big statement. Thank you very much.
From Dr. Ahmed Mohammed Obaid Al-Said.
Dear friend, Professor Muhammad Rela, the achievement that we are celebrating today are unique, not only to our region, but to the world. The number of pediatric liver transplant cases done by one center, which exceeded 500, is truly remarkable. Organ transplant, whether liver, heart, or other organs, is truly a life-saving event, and we need to celebrate it, and we need to also work very hard to increase of it. Our collaboration with Dr. Muhammad and his team has been more than great, and we are more than satisfied.
I'd like to welcome Thiru Duraimurugan, Honorable Minister for Water Resources. Really, he's been very affectionate with me for the last 3 years, and he's been a well-wisher, and I invited him to this function, and he immediately said he'll come and say a few nice words. And it's your support, sir, which is so important for us, and I thank you for coming and really enriching this occasion. Next, I'd like to invite Thiru Ma Subramaniam, the Honorable Minister for Health and Family Welfare. One of the most dynamic of the ministers that I have seen. You all know that, I don't know, many of you here may not know. He's a marathon runner. And then I want to welcome Dr. Qasim Al-Salmi. He's the Director General of Royal Hospital from Oman, and there is a good reason he's here. We welcome the Health Minister of Oman because he's been a huge supporter of our pediatric program and a liver transplant program, but unfortunately he wasn't able to come, but he sent a message, and we'll hear that. I'd like to welcome Professor Anil Dhawan. Maybe they just switched it on. A friend of mine, a colleague of mine from King's College Hospital, he's a world-famous pediatric hepatologist. I think it's my association with people like that which made me who I am. And we have sitting below Dr. Jagat Ratchagan, Member of Parliament, ex-minister, central minister. I don't think without him, he's my boss. The responsibilities that he has given me, I wouldn't be today where I am today without him and his really efforts in bringing an outstanding world-class institution. And having done 500 liver transplant, I believe, is a significant achievement. I think it's a milestone for us. And this 500 liver transplants in children have been done in Chennai. I don't want people to get confused because I've been in this field for 30 years and I've been in Chennai for 10 years. So 500 transplants is something which is achieved in the last 10 years. I have done transplants in Saudi Arabia, in Hyderabad, in Bombay, and in London probably another 300 to 400. So if you count all of it, I would be touching around 1,000 children transplants. And probably, I think I will end my talk by thanking my Annan Jagat Ratchagan Annan for giving me the opportunity to really provide the services. எனக்கு இந்த ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் எடுத்து நடத்தும் போது என்கிட்ட சொன்னதெல்லாம் ஒன்று தான். I want this to be the best in Tamil Nadu and the best in India. It's not about money. He's given me complete freedom to do it the way I want to do it. And I think that's probably why we probably have one of the best names in the industry as one of the best hospitals in the town. And thank you very much for that. I'll leave you with some images of patients. Can I have the previous picture? I think you should see these. Is there another one? This child, I think every child is a story that you see behind. The parents of this child, some years ago you would know, went to the court and asked for a mercy killing for this child. They could not see the child suffer. And the child was with biliary atresia and they were not aware that transplantation was possible. And the government of Telangana or Andhra Pradesh funded this child to have a transplant. And this child is here. You can see the difference. From actually the child nearly dying and the parents could not see the child dying to the current situation of this child. I mean, there is another child. Can you have the next picture? This family, I think they were from Eastern Europe. And they were Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know how many of you know what Jehovah's Witness is. They can't have blood transfusion. Whatever you do, they'll rather die. Enna operation pannalum blood transfusion kudukka kudadu. Adan condition. Blood transfusion kudukama irandu ponalum paravalla. They went all over the world. Everywhere they're looking for a center where they'll do transplant without blood transfusion. And this child had a transplant without blood transfusion in our center. And you can see how the child has changed. So there are many, many stories like that. I think transplantation changes lives of these people. And I want to thank you all really to participate in the celebration of hope. Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure to come to Chennai and to Dr. Rela's Institute and Medical Center to join Rela's hospital family in its celebration to represent the family of the Royal Hospital and the Ministry of Health, Oman, and also to represent the thousands of Omani patients and their families that were touched by the work and generosity of Professor Rela and his team over the last decade. I convey to you the greetings of His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Al-Saidi, the former Minister of Health, and also the greetings of Dr. Hilal Al-Sabti, the new Minister of Health, who was appointed just last Thursday. In the Ministry of Health and in the government of Oman, we are proud of our collaboration with Professor Rela's Institute. Together, we have managed to save the lives of hundreds of patients that were transplanted either in India or at the Royal Hospital. We have successfully worked together to transfer liver transplant knowledge and train our staff. And as of today, we performed 19 liver transplant surgeries in Oman, including a rare wedged pediatric liver transplantation. Our organ transplantation program was enhanced with the establishment of the National Committee as the governing and oversight body, and the Organ Transplantation Department within the Ministry of Health as the operational stakeholder. We have set the plans and laid the foundation to extend our transplantation services to cover not only liver and kidney, but other solid organs like the lungs, pancreas, small intestine, and heart. I want to congratulate Professor Rela and his team for being able to complete the 500 liver transplant in children with outstanding results. We are looking forward to enhance our collaboration and to reach to the goal of providing high quality, high reliability, and cost-effective solid organ transplant services and programs delivered by Omani teams for the Omani population under the auspices and leadership of Prof. Rela's Institute. Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful ceremony, and I look forward to more fruitful and prosperous partnership. Thank you.
தமிழக மருத்துவத்துறையின் வரலாற்றில் இன்றைக்கு ஒரு மகத்தான நாள். மருத்துவர் முகமது ரேலா அவர்கள் ஒரு மகத்தான சாதனை படைத்து 500 இளம் சிறார்களுக்கு கல்லீரல் அறுவை சிகிச்சையின் மூலம் 500 குழந்தைகளின் உயிர் காத்த ஒரு மகத்தான மருத்துவத்துறையின் ஒரு புரட்சி என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய அளவுக்கான ஒரு நல்ல நாள். தமிழக அரசின் நீர்வள ஆதாரத்துறையின் அமைச்சர் பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய இனியண்ணன் துரைமுருகன் அவர்களே, முகமது ரேலா அவர்கள் இன்றைக்கு தமிழகத்திற்கு மட்டும் பெருமை சேர்க்கக்கூடியவர் அல்ல, இந்திய அளவிலான புகழ்பெற்ற மருத்துவர்களில் ஒருவர் என்பதையும் கடந்து உலக புகழ்பெற்ற மருத்துவர் என்பதில் நாம் பெருமைப்படத்தக்க ஒரு நல்ல விஷயம். முகமது ரேலா அவர்கள் 2000ஆவது ஆண்டு பிறந்த 5 நாள் குழந்தைக்கு கல்லீரல் மாற்று அறுவை சிகிச்சை செய்து அதன் மூலம் உலக சாதனை புத்தகமான கின்னஸ் சாதனை புத்தகத்தில் இடம் பிடித்த பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய மருத்துவர், தமிழகத்திற்கு பெருமையை புகழையும் சேர்த்த மருத்துவர் பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய ரேலா அவர்கள். இந்தியாவிலேயே காப்பீட்டு திட்டத்தின் மூலம் ஆயிரக்கணக்கான லட்சக்கணக்கான உயிர்களை காப்பதற்கான வழிவகுத்தவர் முத்தமிழறிஞர் கலைஞர் அவர்கள். 2009ஆம் ஆண்டு தொடங்கப்பட்ட அந்த திட்டம் இடையில் சற்று தொய்வு ஏற்பட்டாலும் மாண்புமிகு தமிழக முதல்வர் அவர்களால் ஜனவரி திங்கள் 10ஆம் தேதி 2002இல் மீண்டும் புத்துயிர் பெறப்பட்டு 7730 கோடி ரூபாய் செலவில் இன்றைக்கு அந்த திட்டம் மிக சிறப்பான செயல்பாட்டில் இருக்கிறது. தமிழகத்திலேயே கல்லீரல் அறுவை சிகிச்சைகளை அதிகமாக செய்திருப்பது ரேலா மருத்துவமனை என்பது ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய அளவிலான நாம் மகிழத்தக்க விஷயம். இன்றைக்கு இதய தானம், சிறுநீரக தானம், கல்லீரல் தானம், மண்ணீரல் தானம், நுரையீரல், குடல், எலும்பு, எலும்பு மஜ்ஜை, கருவிழி, தோல், இதய வால்வுகள், இரத்த குழாய்கள் என்று ஒரு மூளைச்சாவு அடைந்த மனிதனின் உடலிலிருந்து இவ்வளவு உறுப்புகளை தானம் செய்ய முடியும் என்பது அண்மை காலமாக நிரூபணமாகி இருக்கிறது என்றால் பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய திரு ரேலா போன்றவர்களுடைய அற்புதமான அந்த மருத்துவ திறனால்தான். எனவே இதன் மூலம் இன்றைக்கு மருத்துவத்துறை புத்துயிர் பெற்றிருக்கிறது. ஏராளமானவர்கள் உயிர் பெற்றுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். இந்த சாதனையை படைத்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிற பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய திரு ரேலா அவர்களை மனதார பாராட்டி வாழ்த்தி விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
பாராட்டுக்குரிய டாக்டர் ரேலா அவர்களே, இந்த ரேலா மருத்துவமனைக்கு அச்சாக ஆணியாக இருந்து அதை உருவாக்கி கொடுத்திருக்கக்கூடிய நண்பர் டாக்டர் ஜெகத்ரட்சன் அவர்களே, டாக்டர் ரேலா அவர்கள் உயர்ந்த மனிதர். என்னுடைய கணிப்பில் ஆந்திராவில் ஒரு குழந்தை, அது பிறந்த 1 வருஷம் 2 வருஷம் ஆச்சு, கண்ணை திறக்கல, காமால, அது படுற கஷ்டத்தை பார்த்து அந்த ஏழை பெற்றோர்கள் இந்த குழந்தையை கருணை கொலை செய்வதற்கு நீதிமன்றம் எங்களுக்கு வாய்ப்பளிக்க வேண்டும் என்று ஒரு கேஸ் போட்டார். கோர்ட் இதை பார்த்துட்டு ஐயோ பாவம்னு சொல்லி அவங்க ஆந்திரா கவர்மெண்டே பணம் கொடுத்து இவர்கிட்ட அனுப்பினார்கள். இன்றைக்கு அந்த குழந்தை இங்கே வந்து நின்று போன பொழுது அதை பார்த்த உடனே என் கண்களிலே கண் கலங்கி போய்விட்டது. டாக்டருக்கு 4000க்கு மேற்பட்ட குழந்தைகள் ஆஸ்பத்திரி பண்ணதை இந்த சின்ன அறையில் கொண்டாடக்கூடாது. மிகப்பெரிய அறையில் எங்களை போல குட்டி மந்திரிகள் இல்லை, பெரிய பெரிய சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர்லாம் வர வச்சு கொண்டாடி இருக்க வேண்டும். அதுவும் ஒரு காலம் வரும், கொண்டாடலாம் என்று கூறி வாழ்த்துக்கு நன்றி தெரிவித்து விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
500 is a quite big number, and 10 years ago Professor Rela offered me a job, and I was working at King's College. I went to Professor Anil Dhawan and asked him whether I can go back to India. He said, I can give you a job here and you can be the 8th consultant here, or you can go to India and be the first consultant there. நீங்கள் லண்டனில் இருந்தால் 8வது கன்சல்டண்ட்டாக இங்கே வேலை கொடுக்கலாம், ஆனால் இந்தியாவுக்கு போனீங்கன்னா முதல் கன்சல்டண்ட்டாக இருப்பேன்னு சொன்னாங்க. Down the line, 10 years, I'm quite proud to say my parent unit we are doing same numbers as our parent unit, like King's College, around 50 to 60 transplants every year. I think I'm quite proud to be in this unit, and I would like to thank Professor Rela for giving me this opportunity.